You know what a sign is? That's the Shabbat after we just had a bar mitzvah, but there's still candy wrappers on the Dima. Sunkist? Oh, I only had one. Someone must have. They didn't. Of the 3 that we've done this year, 1 didn't, 2 did. Yeah. When you say yours, do you mean like his personally years ago or Jacob's? Yeah, no, we didn't throw candy at Jacob's. Yeah, Jacob didn't want it.
So it's an optional, but it is still an option.
Yeah, we did it last weekend and the weekend before.
You know what I did for Joe?
A la carte? It's better than saying a la mode, I guess.
You know those little packs of Smarties? I put 2 together and wrapped it and made it look like a
Please don't tell me you threw those then.
I just
If we're gonna throw things, we're throwing these sun-kissed shoes, but oh my goodness. Yeah, no, that one was left over from last Saturday that they threw. I'm surprised a lot of people came up to get candy, but there was one left up here. After the past very busy weekends we've had, it's like both nice to be so relaxed and quiet, right? And also like, hey, where is everybody? I feel both at the same time. I don't know, maybe it's the, for people who live in this country called Louisiana, it's cold out right now, right? I'm not there yet, but for other people, I did not wear a coat today. I have now explored our state a little bit more though. On Thursday I was in Opelousas, which I did have a great tour guide. I got to learn. If I would have taken myself, it would not have been as exciting, and I probably would have gotten lost. So I was very excited who I was with. So it was interesting for me. It was like I hadn't had a chance to really explore much of our state. So it was a great program. It was an eclectic group of people, I would say, that joined us for the program, and a very interesting little museum in Opelousas. It was called the Opelousas Museum and Interpretive Center. So one of the rooms I walked into before the program was someone must have donated their porcelain doll collection. They were just a lot of dolls that were staring at me. And then, what did I learn about? A type of music, Zydeco. Zydeco music is part of the museum. And then there were probably some other, it was set up differently because it was set up for us for this program. I spoke about Passover, a priest spoke about Easter, and a gentleman representing Islam spoke about Ramadan. And so we each spoke, and then people asked us questions, and we kind of got to talk to each other. It was really nice. But I have now explored a smidgen. There's a Jewish cemetery in Opelousas that is very well kept. Yeah. It's very interesting to me, the little the small cities that have synagogue buildings. I saw the synagogue building and that have in this area versus some of the other states. They just tell people to go to the bigger cities, but some of the smaller cities have.
Speaking of which, I heard about a synagogue that used to be in Donaldsonville, Louisiana, or that's what it used to be. The building was a synagogue, and then they eventually sold the building and turned it into something else. It's an old historical building, but it actually, I heard that it became a hardware store.
Interesting conversion. I have no idea where Donaldsonville is, but
Across the Sunshine Bridge.
Okay. Okay. So the one in Opelousas, we didn't go inside, we saw the outside of the building. It also was just sold, and someone wanted to turn it into, I think, an art gallery. which seems like a fitting, because it was like a small, really pretty building. I'm not sure what they're doing it. I mean, some small, so I know the synagogue in Natchez, Mississippi was recently deemed like a historic site. So although the synagogue itself is no longer
Was that in
functioning.
North
It was not. It was, yeah, my husband was the student rabbi at that congregation in Natchez, Mississippi. So they, I mean, I don't know that much about its history, about its starting, but more recently they had visiting Reform rabbis come, but the congregation no longer operates, but the building has now been deemed a historic site. So I don't know what they're doing with it now, but. Well, I'm sure we could just keep chatting, but let us pray together. It's great that we are able to. How many people think it's cold out? Okay. You're originally from here, right? Yeah. Okay. You're from Michigan? I think I knew that. Yeah, and this is well, you've been here a while though, right? How long did it take to think this was cold? What am I in for?
1 year.
Oh, next winter I'm gonna be freezing? Okay. Okay. Okay, well, next winter I'll be cold then. I don't think it's cold out. I think it's still lovely, but I do know it's supposed to rain a lot tomorrow. But no matter if you think it's cold out or not, or if it's raining already, it's so great that we are able to be together. Let us sing the words that remind us of that. Hine ma tovu ma naim, Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu ma naim, Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, yai la lai, ya la lai la lai lai lai. Hine ma tov, ya la lai, ya la lai la lai lai lai. Hine ma tovu ma naim, Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu ma naim, Shevet achim gam yachad. I invite you now to open up your prayer book to page 120, where we will find our blessing for lighting our Shabbat candles. Share that this morning when I was doing Shabbat with our Rainer students who had so much energy, and they had energy because today they were allowed to wear costumes. And so you put the 2, 3, 4-year-olds in an Elsa dress and a Spider-Man costume, and for some reason their entire personalities change. And also today was a special day for them because in the afternoon they had this thing set up in the social hall where they got to watch a movie. So when we got to the moment where we were lighting our candles, though, even though they were like very rambunctious, I did this thing this morning where I was like, put your hands on your rosh. Put your hands on your oznaim. I went through all these different things. There was a group of the 2-year-olds sitting here that they were laughing so loud, they just went, no, every time I was like, put your hand. But when we got to candles, everybody was like, it was just like this quiet, peaceful moment. And for me, that this morning, they were very loud as soon as we were done with the candles. But it's just that the ability, if you're staring at the lights, if you're bringing in the warmth of Shabbat, that marks this moment where we're supposed to think about the start of Shabbat and the start of a peaceful moment. Whether that will be all of Shabbat, hopefully, or whether for the 2-year-olds this morning, that was for the 90 seconds it took for us to light the candles and say the blessing. So sometimes I just think that when we cover our eyes and we don't think about anything else that's going on around us, we're really able to enter those moments. So let us enter these moments of prayer together. Reading on the bottom of page 124. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Let us welcome Shabbat with the words of Lecha Dodi, page 138. We will sing together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9 with the chorus in between. And I invite you, if you wish, as we get to that 9th and final verse, to stand and face the door so we can metaphorically greet Shabbat when we reach that final verse. Let us sing together. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Hishmianu el hameyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'Shem ul tiferet ve'litila Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'maksheva techila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri kiva ore kumi ori uri shir daberi kevod Adonai alaich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha ubesohola toch emunei am segula boi chala Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. As we enter Shabbat and welcome the Sabbath bride to our community, I want you to think about something from this past week that was just amazing for you. Something that was great. Could be a big moment, could be a small moment. What's something you're carrying with you into Shabbat? And now I'm curious if anybody is willing to share.
We had a very lovely speaker for our students this year. The Jewish Film Festival used to do a student film where we brought in a Holocaust survivor, and it's morphed over the past few years to where we do it on Zoom with a speaker on Zoom. In the past 2 years, it's actually, the kids are still in their classrooms. They don't come to the theater, but it was really nice. We had some private and some public schools, and a lovely speaker from Texas whose father was in the concentration camps, and she told his story, and the kids asked questions, and it's a very nice thing.
Wonderful. And so important too that people have the opportunity to still hear those stories from people or from the next generation.
Have that direct contact
Yeah.
with survivors, so
Yeah.
now it's with children of survivors.
Yeah. Anybody else? Something great that happened this past week? Crickets. Trying to think of what my great thing is that happened this past week. Eliana started playing basketball. We should put quotes on that, right? Playing kindergarten basketball. And she doesn't have much oomph. Like, my kid has no oomph. But finally, she got the ball to hit the rim of the basket. And so, like, that was, like, the highlight of her life. Because, like, imagine no oomph, it just goes nowhere. So that was a pretty good highlight to see the smile on my kid's face when she realized she didn't get a basket, but she got the rim, right? And that was so exciting. So I think that's one thing I'm carrying with me. Yeah? Judy? Yeah, we've had some good community celebrations. As Jacob looks around the room, right? Jacob, you were our first. You set the stage and the bar high, and then we continued through 2 other lovely celebrations. Wonderful. Let us continue this theme of welcoming as we welcome the ministering angels with those words from Shalom Aleichem, page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Barchuni LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzeitzchem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let us read together on page 145. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. The facing page, page 144. Yitgadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach yotev yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uvyomechon, uvchaye de kol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, ve'imeru. Yahei Shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam olam me'olmaya. Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitroman, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shemei dekudesha parichu, le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, ve'imeru. As we turn to the words of Baruch Hu on page 146, I invite you to rise. I invite you to be seated. Let us read together at the top of page 149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. The top of page 151 together. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. As we turn the page and find the words of Shema, I invite you to rise if you wish. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. We continue chanting together on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol lavavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam Beshivtecha b'veitecha, uvleftecha v'derech, uvshochbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beineinecha, Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'hitem kidoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiot lachem le'elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, emet. Let us read responsively, alternating on page 157 at the bottom. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue. Well, let us sing probably not the same version they sang on the shores of the sea, but the same words, page 158. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot, o sefele, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha Nedar B'Kodesh. Together at the top of page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. In a moment we will sing together the words of Vishamru, which remind us how important it is to pass Shabbat on from generation to generation, to keep Shabbat, to guard Shabbat, to make sure Shabbat continues. But I want you to think first of a Shabbat memory. A Shabbat memory that stands out to you. It could be from last week when Judith shared about the bar and bat mitzvahs we've had recently. It could be from the first time you experienced Shabbat. Could be from your childhood. Could be the first time you remember saying the Shema during services. Think about a Shabbat memory that made Shabbat special for you. And expecting no one to share, I will, though, open it up to see if anybody wants to share. Yeah, Judith? Yeah.
The tune we used to sing to the prayer we just finished.
The English of Let There Be Love.
No, the prayer about,
The one we just read in English?
straight over the piece, no, in Hebrew.
Hashkivenu?
No, well, that too, but the prayer at the end, the blessing at the end.
We'll talk after. I'll ask him. He can tell me later. I'll figure it out.
I'd sing it to you, but I can't sing.
There's no cant in singing if it has to do with prayer, right?
I don't know, but I did always in the choir for school, they told me to just move my lips.
That might be different, right? And not everybody needs to be Joey Roth, right? There is, or Leo from last weekend, right? There's no cant in singing with prayer, I don't think. Coming from one of my memories as a small child, used to sit in services with my parents. They're probably watching on YouTube. Hi, Mom and Dad, don't get mad. And my dad really likes to sing all the prayers out loud, really loudly, and it embarrassed me as a kid. I don't know if you guys identify Isaac and Jacob over there, if your parents sing out loud or not. And I used to go like this to my dad, "Nobody else needs to hear you." That's what I used to say as a little kid. And then obviously now as I've gotten older, everybody needs to hear you. But that's one of my Shabbat memories. So I think everybody needs to hear you, no matter if you sound like Joey and Michael Roth or not. Anybody have a Shabbat memory else?
My mother lighted candles.
Mm.
She always had a special prayer that she would, so a personal message,
Mm.
but you couldn't hear her say it, but
You knew she was doing it. Yeah. Lovely. Yeah. Mm. Well, as we bring all our memories together, let us continue celebrating Shabbat, page 162 at the top. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam oti leolam vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam ki sheshet yamim Asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. As we turn the page now to page 164 and the following pages, we'll chant together our Amidah on the right-hand side of the page in Hebrew, and I invite you to please rise. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagitet lilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotinu v'imotenu, I invite you now to continue silently. Either the words you find on the pages until page 180, or just the words you find in your own hearts on this Shabbat evening, and I invite you to be seated whenever you wish. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. We've come to the moment in our service where we pause to think of everyone in need of healing. Those amongst us, those in our friends and family, community, and across the world. Our UJCBR prayer for healing can be found on page 371. As a community tonight, we think of Joy Lewis, Lucy Silva, Minna Bat Yentl, Mordechai Bendina, Rowan Hausman, Anna Carlo, Judy Roheim, Friedel Tamaro Bat Liba Bela, Menucha Pasa Bat Cherny Umosha, Gretchen Haynes, Steve Sinkoff, Linda Weinstein, Ruby Smolinski, Lee Kaplan, Jennifer Casson, Vicky Furstel, Storm Matthews, remind me, thank you, Evo Spalatin, thank you very much, Terry Stern, and Judith Von Bretnall. If you're thinking of anyone else this evening, if you'd like to share their names aloud, I invite you to do so.
My daughter and her
For the names we heard aloud and those whom we hold in our hearts, let us pray for healing. Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. In Kansas, my daughter Eliana attended a synagogue preschool. There were 2 Elianas in her class. We're expecting when she goes off to Jacob's that there'll be lots of Elianas in her bunk one day. She became very good friends with the other Eliana. One day, after restarting in-person preschool after the lockdown because of COVID, my Eliana daughter proclaimed when she got home what the other Eliana's nickname was and what her nickname was. She said the other Eliana was Ellie and that she was Eliana. I can only imagine the conversation that happened between these 4-year-olds to come to this conclusion. Names are quintessential to who we are. Some names teach us about our ancestors. Some names represent a transformative moment in our lives. Some names are remembered throughout history. For some cultures, names even capture our soul's essence or ward off evil. This week's Torah portion is filled with names. Not just names of people, but also multiple names for God. It opens with God saying to Moses, I am the Eternal. I appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as El Shaddai, but I did not make myself known to them by my name, Yud-He-Vav-He. As you probably know, we today pronounce the name Yud-He-Vav-He as Adonai. There are many names for God in Jewish tradition. According to mysticism, there are 70. And throughout our greatest texts, the Torah, Midrash, Talmud, liturgy, and more, God is referred to by more names than I'm sure anyone in this room cares to count. If God is Echad, one, why do we need so many names for God? And why this week does God say that Moses gets a special name that God didn't reveal to our ancestors in the book of Genesis? The name Adonai is the most popular one used in the Bible. It is used just under 7,000 times. It's not a secret. So why does God make it seem special just for Moses? I think the answer lies in our personal relationships with God. Each one of us uses the name for God we find most comfortable. Many of us even will pray to a God of compassion when we are lacking compassion, or to a God of comfort when we are mourning the loss of a loved one. Not only does our personal relationship with God determine what name we use, but also the moment we are in our lives could determine the name we choose to use. Midrash expands the conversation between Moses and God found in this week's Torah portion. And I think we can learn a lot about our personal relationship with God through this Midrash. The Midrash teaches, God said to Moses, "You want to know my name? I am known according to my deeds. Sometimes I am known as El Shaddai, sometimes as Sivaot, sometimes as Elohim, sometimes as Adonai. When I judge creation, I am called Elohim. When I make war against evil, I am called Sivaot. And when I forgive the transgressions of human beings, I am called El Shaddai. And when I show compassion on my world, I am called Adonai. For any time I am called Adonai, you will find the quality of compassion. You see, you can know me and my name according to my deeds." This midrash emphasizes the point that God's different names are attached to God's different qualities in relation to humans. Even as we pray our Shabbat liturgy, we call upon different names for God, dependent on what focus each prayer has. On Shabbat, we actually do not ask God for things. That is why our Amidah is different than during the week. We only offer praise and thanks, except there are two things we ask for. Anybody know what the two things are on Shabbat we ask God for? We've already prayed them both. So yes, we're not really asking for that though, but yes, we're supposed to obtain that. What are the two things we're asking for? Jeopardy question. So the two things that are the only two things we ask for on Shabbat are healing and peace. When we ask for peace, we call God, you know this, we just sang it, Oseh Shalom, the maker of peace. When we ask for healing, we call God Rofei et HaCholim, healer of the sick. When we pray, we are invoking the different characteristics of God in order to help us grow in life and in prayer. Prayer doesn't necessarily change the outcome of any given situation, but prayer has the ability to change us, the ones who are praying. It is the same in our personal relationships to God. My relationship with God at any given moment in my life might not change what's actually happening around me, but it has the potential to change how I react to what's happening around me. If you think about it, we do this with people in our lives as well. If a friend of ours is also our doctor, we call them by their first name when out to dinner, but doctor when we have a medical question. If our kids play a sport and one of their friends' parents leads the team, we might call them coach on the court or the field, but by their first name elsewhere. We people are B'Tselem Elohim, created in the image of God. So it is fitting that our personal relationships between people mimic the potential personal relationships we each have with God. So maybe God told Moses in this week's Torah portion exactly what Moses needed to hear in that moment to know he could lead our ancestors to freedom. Moses, who was still nervous to accept the job of leader, needed to know that God would be there for him in the way that Moses needed, no matter what. Each one of us, I'm sure, too, have moments where we question if we can accomplish something, and sometimes even question our relationship with God. When in one of these situations, may we each find the strength to focus on the characteristic we need most from God, whatever we each believe God to be in that moment. Shabbat Shalom. As we return to our prayer books and prepare to conclude our service, Isaac, Jacob, do you want to help me? With the ark? Yeah. What, you can still. Everybody in the room's allowed to. You don't have to. You can help me with the wine later if you want to also. So don't open it yet, but we're going to turn in our prayer books to page 586. 586 for Aleinu, and I'm going to invite you to please rise, and Isaac's going to open the ark for us. You can do it now. Other side. Is it others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. Ve'nemar ve'haya Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yehiya Adonai echad u'shemo echad. You can close the archives,
If I can.
if you can. We'll help you if you can't. I'll put your whole body into prayer if he does it like that. You may be seated.
What do you choose?
Where is it from?
For the ones.
Were there four? I don't think there's chocolate. It's a hard decision. Oh no!
I got a wrapper.
Yeah, hopefully it's not a million little pieces.
Thank you.
As our prayers draw to a close this Shabbat evening, we turn our thoughts now to our loved ones who are no more. Tonight we remember one taken from us recently, Abraham Hutt. To his name we add the names of those who passed away during the past year: Bruce Dunham, Jim Bowman, R.B. Dickerson, Moni Mayer, Joanne Strickler, Richard Stone, John Wormser, Robert Eisenbach, Jerry Suppos, Donald Kim, Hannah Bine, Nathan Zuckerman, Bernie Flicker, Herman Van Oz, Shirley Marvin, Victoria Vestel, Morris Bonadonna, Lynn Schmulin, and Jerry Black. To their names, we add the names of those who died at this season in years past and whose family members are observing the Yortzeit, the anniversary of death. Laz Abraham, Carolyn Axel, Herbert Barton, Eileen Burton, Hilda Kaplan, William Hutt, Herbert Jenkins, Abe Levine, Levis Levy, Louis Liss, Ralph Marks, Carol Marks, Bessie Mell, Dora Miller, Vera Miller, William Molly, Lisa Pate, Harold Rubin, Esther Slipman, and Sylvia Steiner. If there are others you are thinking of this Shabbat, I invite you to share their names aloud if you wish. We turn together now to the words of Mourner's Kaddish, page 598, and I invite you to rise if you wish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirotei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon uvyom echon uv'chayei dekol beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yahei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitzadar v'yitzaleh v'yitzalal shemei dekudasha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yahei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zikro nam levracha, may all their memories be for a blessing. As together we say, Amen. You may be seated. Gonna invite Julie, our representative of our board, to welcome everyone and share some brief announcements, please and thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for services. We welcome everyone. Tomorrow morning, there's Torah study at 9:30 a.m. in the social hall and on Zoom. Minyan at 10 a.m. in the green room, and services at 10:30 a.m. in the sanctuary or on YouTube. Tomorrow night, there is a Havdalah service on Zoom hosted by the Saxey family at 5:30 p.m. This Sunday, please join us at 4 p.m. in the social hall for the annual meeting. We will socialize, learn about plans for the Kleinert Avenue building, review the past year, and hear about plans for our future. We are delighted to welcome Rabbi Arthur Nemetov and musician Michelle Cox on February 3rd and 4th, when we will celebrate Rabbi Smiley's installation. More detailed information to come. Shabbat Shalom.
Jacob, do you want to help with Kiddush? Yeah, that you want to come on up. Can you please uncover that cup there? Awesome. I invite everyone to turn in your prayer book to page 123. And if you are comfortable, I will invite you to please rise as we close out our service with a little kiddush, a little motzi, and then we'll join together eating some challah. Let us join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Lift it up. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. L'chaim. I don't know what it is. Is it white or red? He probably actually tastes the cup. Will you uncover the challah for us also? You probably taste the cup, or it's wine. I don't know if it's not juice. You think it's wine? Let's join together. Isaac, you can come join us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat Shalom. Please enjoy some challah. I do think I saw James heating it in the oven for us before services, so it might be nice and toasty. So please join in some challah. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Jacob, was the liquid like a dark red or was it white? Like a clear? It's a dark red? It's probably juice then. No, it's not. I think red's normally grape juice. Who knows? It could. You tasted like wine. It's possible. Thank you for helping, Isaac. Thank you for helping.
said, never been called good head of all here.
Like the quote from Torah? That God says this week he didn't make.
Yes, that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's directly from.
But explain it. Like he's saying, that's not my name.
No, God says to Moses that I appeared to these other people, but I didn't appear to them as Adonai. I'm appearing to you as Adonai.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's one.
yeah. Which we know that like that name is used in
That's one.
previously. So yeah, it's confusing. But God says to Moses, like this is a quote, like I'm appearing to you, but I'm appearing to you
So that's
with
the
a special
emphasis
name here because I didn't appear to those people in Genesis with the same name. I'm the same God, but I gave them a different name.
I don't understand. I got the whole sermon up to that, but I missed the line it was kind of referenced.
The whole rest of it.
I'm like,
Yeah, that was pretty much a pretty important part of the rest of it. Yes. Would you? No, you're good. Would you like a lolly? Is that
No,
what?
I was just trying to read the label from myself. I couldn't see one. No.
I think they're called Shabbat Chup. Isaac calls them something different, but I think they're called Shabbat Chups. Chupa Chups. Chupa Chups.
Are we having Onig tonight?
We are not having Onig.
What about tomorrow?
I am possibly. I don't know. The reason I don't know is many times on Saturday we are blessed that someone just shows up with some nosh. So we are having Torah study services minion, and if someone brings the nosh, we'll all go into the green room afterwards. I'm guessing though there will at least
First
be
study at 9, right, or 9:30?
9:30. 9:30. Yeah, Torah study.
come to core study and not stay for services?
I think so. What do you think? I think so.
It has been done before.
I think so. I will say we've built a really great Shabbat community, that there's like a flow, that there are people who come to Torah study and then go to Minyan, even though it's already like 30 minutes into it, and so I actually don't know who's leaving who's, but I think there's been people who come and go. Yeah, there's been a good flow between the three different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering it.
Yeah.
I like the study, but I can only do so much.
Rabbi, you were doing names?
Yes.
My daughter named her baby,
She had the baby?
Yael.
Yael, that's
You
a
should have
beautiful
said
name.
that during when she said anything happened this week.
Well, that was the week before. That was during the Bar Mitzvah.
Yael, okay.
And so I said, well, the Southern pronunciation is y'all,
It's gonna be y'all. Yeah, Yael, no, that's beautiful. Remind me where your daughter lives again?
Minneapolis.
Okay, yeah, Yael. Are they doing, is it a tradition in your family to do a baby naming or anything? Yeah, okay. Yael, that's a beautiful name. Yeah,
I'll see her in July. That's what I told her when she told me when she was
Okay.
having a wedding.
yeah, yeah. But have you seen a picture at least, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Something did
If someone
happen.
already made you a new
Something-
tie or socks, right?
Not yet. She
Not
said
yet.
She's working on it.
She's working on it. Okay, I'm waiting to see the tie with the new baby on it. So, Yael, that's a beautiful, beautiful name. I love that name. Yeah, you're right though. People here are gonna see it and be like, y'all, are you here? Y'all, you here? Yeah.
So it's-
Jacob wanted to ask you.
I was just telling Mr. Jack that when the story you told me last time I sat over there and see
You can't repeat that.
What's-
I told the story.
That's probably not true.
I told him that what that you told me. You used to make your daughter a big old bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Jacob, will you be here on Sunday?
Yes.
You and Leo are moving on to the next step. Remember when you met Jacob, the LSU student who does Hebrew at LSU? He is going to take, during Hebrew, he is going to take you and Leo, and you guys are going to start looking at some like conversational modern Hebrew stuff.
Okay.
You and Leo together. Because you guys already rocked your prayers. Yeah. Remember, you met Jacob. He helped you one of the days you were practicing before your bar mitzvah. Do you remember the other Jacob?